Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank you for joining us on this Friday Eve. It's almost Free-for-All Friday. I thought we had Free-for-All Friday yesterday, the way this show was going yesterday.
Almost. Just about.
Yeah, but 107, temperatures in the mid-70s. We have a cool front that's pushing through the area. And a few showers along with it, but not much. Just a few light showers.
Where's my rain, Dean?
So, you know who that is, Bridgette?
That is Parker. He's one of our listeners. He's a sponsor for Here We Grow. Parker, that is outstanding.
So
my first favorite sounder is the Fisher Price barn door. My second is Parker Skolness. Yeah.
Parker, that was awesome.
I think everyone's wondering.
Where's my rain, Dean?
Well, just hang tight. It is absolutely on its way. Thanks for sending that in, Parker. That was awesome, buddy. We do have a few light showers pressing through the valley, a few thunder showers in Lakes Country. And we are looking at south of Sisseton out around Millbank. There's kind of a thunderstorm parked over that area. Now, here's the thing. So a cool front is pressed through the area, and that means if you look west, you'll say, hey, where's my rain, Dean? There's blue sky out to the west. That means we'll see a little more sunshine as we head into the afternoon. That will destabilize the atmosphere. Now, with the front already pushing through our area, we can expect to see some stronger storms developing down to our south. Probably along the South Dakota border. Those would be the best areas of getting any precip of any appreciable nature for late this afternoon into this evening. I think the rest of us from the 94 corridor northward should remain dry. But then another round of storms is expected, and this one could bring some heavier rain Friday night through the day on Saturday. I still think we're looking at 1 to 3 inches. What in the world are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Man, if you're not watching online, you should be.
Yeah, we live stream every day.
This is
we do on Facebook, YouTube, and Acres TV. And when Dean said the atmosphere could destabilize, I thought it would be just like this show. We're completely destabilized most days.
This is an S show some days, that's for sure.
Hey, you know what we do when we start talking on this show?
What?
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
That's 80% of the show.
Boy, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Oh, Lord. So there is rain on the way by the time Sunday is done, and that rain should come to an end on Sunday, about 1 to 3 inches across the area. So that's good news.
I got some words I almost said. I got scared. A huge moth just flew right in my face.
You deserve it.
Why is there a moth in the studio,
that wasn't a moth. I threw something at you.
No, that's a moth. That's a big old boy, too.
So we got an email from, I believe it was Al, and Al was in just outside of Gardner, which he picked up about 0.8 of an inch of rain from that storm yesterday evening. It was pretty isolated. We picked up about 1/4 inch here. The airport only picked up 0.3 of an inch. So Al said, all right, I'm good for a while. And you should be good for a while, Al, until Friday night. Friday night and Saturday, more rain. What'd you get, Bridge?
Not near enough. I'll take more. So whatever Al doesn't want, send my way.
Okay.
Just haven't seen very much. It's kind of made the driveway wet, maybe wet the dust slightly, but we can certainly take more moisture here. No
right.
doubt.
Yeah, we definitely need it too, because our soybean field is rather dry. We stepped out there yesterday to shoot our next episode of Here We Grow.
Did you fall in the crack?
And well, I'm not going to tell you what we found out there, but we found something that shouldn't be in the field. And it came out of literally nowhere. So you're going to have to wait till tomorrow to watch the video to see what it was. And we're kind of showing a little tease on our stream of the video we captured yesterday. But this is a question. What's the weirdest or most unexplained thing you found in your field, either this year or years past? 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line. Again, 701-293-9000. Like I was saying, we went out to the field yesterday, and we were baffled by what we found through our field.
Guys, I have a list. So for those who want to call, email, please do on the Red Wing Shoes hotline. But I've been saving this for a day where it would come up. 1, a balloon with notes from a children's classroom. This was found in Delaware.
Oh, that's cool.
That the farmer could respond back. 2, this was in Manhattan, Kansas. They found a hand grenade that was unexploded. They are right across the road. Right across the road from Fort Ripley. Then, a perfectly intact antique glass bowl near Lemoore, California. It had been below the soil surface and accidentally got dug up. Then this was in Colby, Kansas. They were riding brush looking for stray cattle and found a cemetery from the 1800s that had been unmarked and lost in county
way.
maps. And the last one in Brown City, Michigan, they found a artificial Christmas tree someone had driven by and thrown out into a cornfield. So
I think
there's
a lot
few ideas.
A lot of people think like farm fields are dumping grounds, for crying out loud. I mean,
They are not.
They're not.
Yeah, just dump your stuff in someone else's field. They'll never know.
Man. What's the weirdest thing what you guys found yesterday out in our Here We Grow field? That might be hard. That might be
Did
hard.
any of you children see the alien spaceship last night?
Yes. Did anyone see the spaceship last
Now,
night?
if you're watching online, you're going to see what they found out in the field. I mean, what in the world?
I mean,
Just
look at that.
out of nowhere.
And that was not there last week. Like 6 days ago, it wasn't there. And we come back, and it's through the whole
There
field.
it is.
It's in the whole field.
And Justin was a lot of get off my lawn angry. It was a little bit vicious.
I was pretty
but we
ticked
worked
off,
through it.
honestly. I mean, that's really screwed up about what's out there. And we got Ken on the line. Ken, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Where are you calling from? And you found something weird in your field or got a story to share?
Right now from Fargo, but originally from up by Fertile. And I'd been out working for a guy plowing one year, and I lost my wallet. And it happened to be the day after payday, and I cashed my check and all my money was gone. Well, about 2 years later, I was out plowing for the same guy, and I got out of the tractor, and I looked down, and my wallet was laying there.
No way.
That's awesome.
A couple years later, and I found my wallet back.
Wow.
Was all the money still in it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, out in the middle of the field, no gopher's going to steal the money.
Hey, right on. Well, yeah, how's that for a little bonus payday?
Yeah, I helped a little bit.
Hey, well, thanks for calling, Ken. Really appreciate it. And
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
you as well. We're going to head over to Bruce here in just a second. Again, if you got something weird you found in your field or a fun story, 701-293-9000. Bruce, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. What's the weird thing you found in a field?
Yeah, well, I didn't find anything, but, in Ulen, they found that they thought it was the Viking sword. I think that was found back in the 1800s. Some farmer found that in his field, and there's a whole museum built around that thing right now.
Oh.
There is.
You said that's in Ulen?
You're exactly right. Yes.
So that was kind of interesting. But I think they determined it was a sword from Germany or something. It wasn't an original Viking sword or something.
Man, what if it would have been? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
That'd be super cool. Well, hey, thanks for calling, Bruce. Really appreciate it. You have yourself a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, that's I still don't I know what it is. I know what's in our field. I know why it's there, but I don't know why it's there either.
But nobody told us
No one told us
that it was going to be there.
Well, it shouldn't be there.
No. Not many farm fields have this going through the middle of it or through it. Maybe not the middle of it, but through it.
Yeah, it's something else. But we got Darren on the line. Darren, where are you calling from and what's your story?
Well, I'm on near Prosper right now. I'm actually in the field, so if it sounds a little loud.
Hey, that's just fine.
Yeah, I work for NDSU. I'm a sort of a research farmer here, and I've been by your little field there, and I know exactly what's going through it. So I'm trying not to spoil the surprise, I guess.
Hey, what do you think about it? I think we got screwed.
Yeah, well, I live south of town, and yeah, the diversion authority isn't there, and so everyone's best friend down there.
That would be exactly
It's in the worst possible place too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
A lot of farmers down south of, they're not too happy with what's going on. They're accepting it, but it's like, it sort of sucks. So
Sure
I can tell you
does.
things that I found in the field. A few years back we were doing some stand counts, and I found a small Indian arrowhead.
Oh.
And
Nice.
I know a friend of mine who lives south by Wolverton area. He's found over the years. He's an old retired farmer. He's found dozens of arrowheads in his field. So that's a really cute, neat thing. I suppose it's harder today because everyone is up in a cab tractor. But back in the day when they were closer to the ground, you just find arrowheads all the time.
Right. That's super cool.
I find tools too, all rusty old tools. But
And any of those arrowheads end up being worth anything?
I just got mine on my desk, taped to my computer, and he's got his just in a bowl. So I don't think there's any too much monetary value, more historical,
Right.
Never actually looked into it, so.
Right on.
Interesting.
Well, hey, Darren,
Yeah, when
thanks.
you're out there walking on the field, keep your eyes open. They're there. I'm not sure if mine was some little kid shooting at a rabbit because it was only like 2 centimeters, an inch long, with the tip was broken. But yeah, this is out in the middle of nowhere. It was right there.
Cool. Well, hey, Darren, thanks for calling and thanks for sharing. You have yourself a good rest of the day.
You too. Thanks.
Yep. You always find something. You can always find something weird or fun somewhere. It's just that what we found
really
wasn't
can.
fun.
Well, it was a surprise. Now, I kind of had an inkling that was coming, but the fact that it had moved so quickly was a bit of a shock. Now, one thing that we are going to want to do, and that is when our guest joins us today, is ask him what are unusual things he's found in the field. And our guest, I believe we're getting him all set up, and that is Dr. Joe Ikley. He is with North Dakota State University. He's the extension weed specialist, and Joe is going to help us talk through some of the things that are going on with dicamba tolerance in the state, etc. So as soon as we can, we're going to get Joe to come in and join us. So folks, don't go away. You're going to want to hear what we're talking about next.
What do eyewear and weather have in common? Join us for the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast to find out. Each Tuesday morning, Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm, and myself, Ashley Freeborn, owner of Aspire Optical, will bring you the 7-day forecast.
You never know where we'll be or how it will be presented, but we promise to bring you the most accurate forecast this side of the Red River.
And learn how you can save big on eyewear from Aspire Optical.
Watch the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages.
Trust us, this is weather and eyewear like you've never seen.
Join us on Tuesday at 10:06 a.m. when we bring you the Luther Family Ford Nonprofit of the Week on the Coffee Club. This is one of the most special things we do to honor and showcase our local nonprofits because they are the lifeblood of keeping our communities safe, fed, housed, educated, and more. Join us at 10:06 a.m. every Tuesday when we bring you another Luther Family Ford Nonprofit of the Week on WDAY's The Coffee Club.
Here in the Red River Valley, many things have changed over the past century, yet we continue to work hard, and hard work requires the right boots. At Red Wing Shoes, we create every boot by hand. We are a company rich in history, heritage, and pride, and we're committed to making shoes that fit the job. Boots that are strong and good-looking, that provide comfort and stability. So no matter the size of your feet or the demand of your job, Red Wing Shoes have the boots for you. Stop in and see for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
If you're planning a big event for this summer, maybe it's a work function or you have a family gathering too big to host at your house, let O'Kelly's be the spot. Whether it's a grad party, groom's dinner, wedding reception, O'Kelly's has the space to make it great. And they will cater the whole thing with delicious food, a great outdoor setting by the pool, or indoors where everything is taken care of. They are attached to the Biltmore Inn, so out-of-towners even have a place to stay. Don't worry about anything. Talk to Tori at O'Kelly's, I-29 in Maine, in Fargo.
Adam with Cheyenne Gardens is here. Adam, pollinators are a hot topic again this year. Do you have anything that you like to put in your garden for the pollinators?
I really do, and so I use a lot of the standard perennials that most people use. I use a lot of liatris and coneflowers and monardas and catmints. I use my sedums for the fall because I got to think about the bees in the fall. And I use a lot of milkweed. My monarchs really like to feed on the milkweed, so I use a lot of milkweed. The other thing I like to use is I use a lot of annuals. I use some Verbena bonnieriensis, some of the tall verbenas, which is Verbena bonnieriensis. Meteor showers is a great variety for that. I use zinnias. They add great color. And then I'm also starting to use a lot of the annual milkweeds like Silky Gold and Silky Red. These annual milkweeds have nice bright flowers. They take a lot of heat, and then the caterpillars will feed on them and eat them up. Parsley's another good one in the garden, and even green beans. So those are some of my favorite things to use in the garden to feed get the butterflies to feed on and the pollinators to work.
Excellent. Thanks, Adam. Cheyenne Gardens, a great place to wander, admire, and explore for the largest variety of trees, shrubs, and bedding plants in the area. Just 10 minutes up from Fargo, up I-29 in Harwood. Put Cheyenne Gardens on top of your list as the best place to visit for your gardening and landscaping this year.
If you're looking for land or a specific piece of equipment for your farm, ranch, or construction site, add steffesgroup.com to your list of favorites. You'll find all their upcoming auctions in your area and nationwide, both live on site and timed online. Like their bi-monthly timed online auctions featuring equipment from all of their upper Midwest locations. And if you have equipment to sell, check out the deadline to consign for their next bi-monthly online auction. Go to steffesgroup.com today and get in on the action of an auction anytime, day or night. That's steffesgroup.com, STEFFES group.com.
DAY, weather and ag. A lot of out of focus today because that's just kind of how we roll.
I killed the moth.
He like just obliterated a moth in the studio. He's knocking stuff all over and he
keeps flying in my face, man. I can't focus. I'm going to say words I can't say.
This is why people have to watch the live stream. You can't imagine
you can't make up some of the stuff
on our faces.
Right?
Nope. Man. So I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director. If you're watching the live stream, I'm the one in the red shirt, so that helps out. Then
oh my God!
Dean
Okay,
Wysocki.
it's happening. Everybody, stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody, calm down.
So the Dean Wysocki, Chief Meteorologist, Justin Storm, Meteorologist, and if people need to stay calm and calm down because they're worried about what could be happening, well, that's when you call Irie Insurance, one of our Here We Grow sponsor. See them at IrieInsurance.com for all of your needs. Maybe you're worried about hail insurance or just having us around your house because God knows what could break.
Or
so
perhaps
maybe
a moth.
It's best if you all, yeah, moth could wreck things. And
Mothman.
we do have a caller who has been so kindly waiting for us, and that is Mike. He's on line 1. Mike, what can you share with us?
Well, I just turned it on, and then the guy said that he had found an Indian arrowhead. One day I was out doing some work in the field, and I found an Indian hammer.
Oh, cool.
Hammerhead, which actually was, I took it to a history teacher, and it is a smaller, more unique type head that he said was to break bones open to get the bone marrow out. And he estimated it somewhere over 500 years old.
Cool.
So it was kind of a unique little Indian hammerhead.
Right. What'd you do with it? Do you still got it, or did you give it to a museum or something?
It stands on the mantle.
Cool. I bet you that's a fun storyteller.
Yeah,
that is
you
awesome
just
to
don't
know.
See 'em, you don't see them very darn often.
No, you definitely don't. Well,
That's a nice find.
It is a nice find. I'm sure it's worth a little penny too.
It's got to be worth something.
Nice
I've
tool.
never had it checked. Yeah, one other thing. I'm beginning to lose faith in the LRC because he never said it was going to be over 14 to 16 days of 90-degree weather and no rain.
Well, and you do have a point there, and there's there are a couple of reasons. Now, the summer just started, so overall the summer was supposed to be close to average to a little bit above. So we still have all of summer to go. And in terms of rainfall, and we'll have to go back and check because we've got it broken down through the month of June, and I don't know if the first 3 weeks of June were supposed to be this dry. I'm guessing no, and part of that is blocking.
Actually, I think the first part of June was. I'll check.
Okay,
I'll check.
So we'll you know what, Mike, we'll check on that, and we'll kind of do a follow up tomorrow. But one of the reasons is there was blocking that persisted in the atmosphere all the way into late spring here, and that typically breaks down. This year it did not, and that kind of put everything out of whack, if you will, and the LRC was thrown off there for a couple of weeks. But hang tight. It's
Yeah, June was supposed to be dry.
Yeah, June was supposed to be dry. So the LRC did have the precip right. I don't think it pegged
100 degrees.
No,
No,
I
not
don't
on
think
temp.
it didn't peg the. What was it forecasting on temps there, Justin? You got that pulled up, or?
I mean, I do, but it's more of a. Let's see.
So it was off on the temps, I'm sure.
It was down on temps.
Yeah, it was down on temps, but it was kind of spot on the precip. So.
Well, at least it made up for April.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, believe it or not, since Since March, we equal out average right now for temperatures.
Right. since March.
There you
Yep.
go.
There you go.
Everything evens out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for calling in, Mike.
Thank you. All right, folks, we have on air with us, and I believe he's online too, and that is our guest today, Dr. Joe Ikley. Joe is the North Dakota State Extension weed specialist, and he is the guy when it comes to what are the weed problems out in the field, the situations, etc. Joe, how are you today?
I am good. Just watching the rainfall fizzle out before it hits us means we can spray some more today.
Oh, that's good and bad. Good and bad. So, all right, we've got just a kind of the big story that's come out as of late, and I know you've been quoted in several articles, Dr. Ikley. First confirmed case of dicamba-resistant water hemp. Well, anything you'd like people to know about that? Just starting right off the bat, shall we?
Yes, so it's definitely it's the first confirmed case that we've had here in North Dakota. We're not first on the map as far as states. There's a few states to our south that have had dicamba-resistant water hemp, but yes, this past winter we conducted some testing on a suspicious population based out of Trail County, and the main thing with that population to know is that post-emergence dicamba just does not work on it at the rates we're supposed to spray at, or even higher than that. And so definitely bad news for those who like that technology to control weeds like water hemp post-emergence. One of the more interesting things, it's probably not as pertinent this time of the year, being July coming up, but interesting to note that dicamba still worked pre-emergence to a degree on that population, which is maybe just highlighting how tricky resistance will be in the future as we start finding more cases of things like dicamba resistance. Does that mean resistance to post-emergence herbicides, pre-emergence use of that same herbicide, et cetera?
So let's back up just a minute about dicamba, because we do have some listeners who are like, I don't even know what dicamba is. So let's start with that. That is an active ingredient name for a chemistry. And tell me where I'm going wrong here, Joe. It should be a group 4 chemistry because they're classified by modes of action. And then what crops do we know that dicamba has been used in across the state of North Dakota? And any idea how many years dicamba has been on the market?
Yeah. So if we kind of go back to the beginning, it's one of the earlier synthetic herbicides that we've used. So the first one being 2,4-D that was actually developed during World War II. And then dicamba came onto the market in the late 1950s. I think 1958 was the launch year of that that herbicide. And so thinking about how a group 4 herbicide works, and you also hear terms like synthetic auxin or plant growth regulator. We're always referring to these group 4 herbicides, and they primarily control broadleaf plants. We use it to control broadleaf weeds. Historically, the use pattern has been in things like pasture, some small grains, corn, so grass crops or grass vegetation. Dicamba is relatively safe on those types of plants. Killing the broadleaf weeds has been our use pattern since, we'll just say, the late 50s, early 60s. Where dicamba has become more prevalent is there is some GMO soybeans, a new event that was patented and brought to market, commercial launch in 2017, that has made soybean tolerant to dicamba. So basically allows us to selectively use dicamba within these dicamba-resistant soybeans to control our broadleaf weeds. And so popularity in use in soybean has been relatively high since that 2017 commercial launch of that event.
Okay. All right. So that's going to build some questions right there for folks. And it is the bottom of the hour. We need to take a little time to thank some sponsors. One of them also would be Steffes Group. Max Steffes was with us just yesterday talking about land and machine reactions. Steffes Group is a Here We Grow project sponsor. We thank them for that sponsorship. And we will be right back to continue to talk with Dr. Joe Ikley, North Dakota State University Extension Weed Specialist, and additionally, our discussion about dicamba and other tough to control weed situations in the state of North Dakota. Stick with us.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Three Lions Pub is a place for ladies every Friday and Saturday night. On Saturday, ladies get $1 you call it. There's a drawing for relaxing products from Nature's Therapy.
Bring your better half for the Friday night date night deal. 2 meals and a bottle of wine for $35. There's also a variety of beer on tap. Lunch is back 7 days a week, 11 to 3. And all first responders, military, and seniors save 15% every day.
Friends, food, and fun at Three Lions Pub on 13th Avenue in West Fargo.
Celebrate your 4th of July with the FM Redhawks as they take on the Milwaukee Milkmen at Newman Outdoor Field at a special 2 p.m. first pitch. Plus, bring your family fare receipt of $25 or more to the box office and receive a pair of first base bleacher tickets to the game for free. See you at the Redhawks game on Tuesday, July 4th at 2 p.m. For more information on all the upcoming promotions and to get your tickets, call 235-6161 or go online to fmredhawks.com.
It's about tradition, values, and family ties. Pucklet Chevrolet GMC's tradition of giving back to our community remains a priority, and that's why we've partnered with many local nonprofit organizations and events. And our tradition of giving this community a fair and honest offer continues. Right now, you can save over $6,000 on select new Chevy Silverado 1500s. We're Pucklet Chevrolet GMC in Valley City. Tradition, values, and family ties.
See dealer for details.
Thunder Road is open now with expanded hours for the summer. Go-karts, batting cages, bumper cars, 2 mini golf courses, and you've got to check out the renovated Thunder Road Arcade and Laser Tag Arena. Maximize those hours of extended daylight with hours of fun for the whole family at Thunder Road, where the action never stops.
Crank up your nerve, grab your get up and go. Ride the rolling thunder to a place called Thunder Road.
Next to the Flying J Travel Plaza off I-29.
It's Big Game, James McCarty.
And Jay Stedman.
We want you to join us on WDAY Radio this Saturday for a pair of North Dakota Shrine Bowl All-Star football games.
The 2023 games will be played at Jerome Berg Field on the campus of Mayville State University on Saturday, June 24th. 11-man game kicks off at 4 p.m. and the 9-man game is slated to kick off at 7 p.m.
So join Jason and I beginning at 4 on Saturday afternoon right here on WDAY Radio.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Justin Storm, Meteorologist, Dean Wysocki, Chief Meteorologist, and after all of that chaos, even better, our guest, Dr. Joe Ikley. He is Assistant Professor and also Extension Weed Specialist at North Dakota State University. And okay, Dr. Ikley, we were talking about dicamba, what it is, what it does, but let's go to water hemp for a minute because these two things go together now with the resistance issue with dicamba, but explain water hemp, what family is in, and why does it so easily become tolerant to chemistries that we want to use as far as herbicides?
Yeah, so water hemp is one of the weeds in the pigweed family, and this is a very common family of weeds. So anyone who's just a backyard gardener has undoubtedly encountered a pigweed. So they're pretty ubiquitous across the landscape. Water hemp is one of two pigweeds that are very problematic in U.S. row crop production. We've got Palmer amaranth, which people have probably heard about is a major problem in the South, but we can find it in North Dakota as well. And then water hemp is really more of the problematic Midwestern pigweed. And so some of the things that make water hemp particularly problematic and prone to developing herbicide resistance is the fact that it is what we call a dioecious plant. And so when we talk about plants, we use two terms, monoecious or dioecious, and that's referring to where the flowers are located on individual plants. And what dioecious means is that there are separate male and female plants. So think of it like people, versus a monoecious plant that people will recognize as corn, male and female flowers on the same plant. So the reason I took the time to explain that is that dioecious plants like water hemp basically are obligate outcrossers. They cannot self-pollinate. This leads to increased genetic diversity. And so when we have a plant that will become herbicide resistant, it can spread that resistance trait on pollen. So if a male plant is resistant, then basically many of the female plants that would pollinate then become resistant as well. And this just leads to a pretty quick ability on the landscape level for resistance to spread. Combine that with the fact that water hemp produces a lot of seed, up to 1 million seed per plant, but certainly in the tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands is very common for any individual water hemp plant that you might encounter.
So when it comes to all these weeds that are becoming resistant to herbicides and different modes of action, how big of a deal and what is the main concern with that?
Yeah, so one of the reasons we talk a lot about herbicide resistance is there's a lot of herbicides that are popular for a number of reasons. They're easy to use, they're relatively cheap, or they're effective against a large number of weeds. And so if we kind of look back at dicamba that we started talking about, very effective herbicide on a lot of these broadleaf weeds. And so it's one of these products that we can use and really want to get a lot of good broadleaf weed control out of that product. However, when we start using any individual product on a large scale, over and over again, repeated use pattern, then that's what we will typically call in weed science, we're applying a selection pressure. And so when we're using the same product, we're basically exposing a weed population or multiple weed populations to that same product over and over again, and that will help shift towards resistance, which then means that product that we like to use because it's cheap, it's effective, no longer controls some of our major weed issues, and we have to find something else to do to control those weeds.
Okay.
So, Dr. Ikley, when you think about water hemp here in the Red River Valley, what's the prevalency of this as one of our major weed concerns? I talk a lot about kochia all the time, but where do we stand with water hemp, and where is it a bigger problem in certain crops over others?
Yeah, so as far as the footprint of where water hemp is found, we can find individual water hemp plants or populations, basically in the eastern half of North Dakota. But where it's very problematic, and this is kind of an oversimplification, but I like to draw a line from Fargo to Jamestown and then due south to the border of North Dakota and South Dakota. That little corner of the state is what I kind of emphasize as being the most problematic areas for water hemp, or where water hemp might be the number one weed for many people. It is spreading north every year into the Red River Valley, so that it's certainly all the way up to the Canadian border, and folks north of that little corner that I just highlighted deal with water hemp as well. But you know, when we look at water hemp, its footprint, those who just maybe can't sleep at night thinking of how to control the darn thing, where it's the number one weed, that's a lot of these Red River Valley type of soils. And particularly when we think about crops, a lot of our row crops like soybean, corn, sugar beet, crops, those are some of the top crops in my mind where water hemp is the most problematic weed.
I got a question on that. When you're talking about it moving further north year after year. Is there something or a factor that the weather can play into that could minimize the movement of it going north and actually maybe push it further south? And the way I'm thinking about this is, say you get a really dry and cold winter where we don't have a snowpack, it's excessively cold, we get a really deep, hard frost deep into the ground. Is there a way, if you hit a certain temperature, you can kill the seed off so it doesn't fertilize or grow the upcoming year? Kind of similar that you can do with some of the larvae for bugs and ticks and some plants. They get too cold through a winter and they don't come back.
No, and so that theory has been floated around several times, and I think it's always a good one to talk through. Because it makes sense for a biological being that if it gets cold, something might die.
Mm-hmm.
But with plants and these weeds, they have very hard seed coats, and they're basically conditioned to sit there and remain dormant until the conditions are right to stimulate germination. And being very cold and being very dry is actually the best recipe to prolong the longevity of that seed. Basically,
right.
if you want to kill a weed seed, if it's warm, like very hot and moist, is actually the way to get seeds to degrade over time, not cold and dry. The other phenomena I was just going to mention, thinking about weather and things of why it's spreading north, if you could prevent overland flooding from the Red River or reverse the course of direction and make it flow south, that would be a way to get it to go back south.
We'll work on that for you.
Look, they might be the weather wizards, but good Lord, Joe, there's only so much we can do, right?
Hydrology and meteorology, they're different sciences.
So, Joe, if you've talked to farmers with this concern with dicamba, what are they going to do? What are the options that people are talking about?
Yeah, and so the good thing when we look at this one population that we've screened, it is resistant to dicamba, and then I should also add on glyphosate and what we call the group 2 herbicides. So it's resistant to several different herbicide groups and individual active ingredients. There are still herbicides that work quite effectively on it, though. We found that glufosinate, those who work with trade names, Liberty is the main trade name with that particular active ingredient, and 2,4-D are also both very effective on that population. So even within soybeans, if we switch to a different herbicide-resistant trait package, we do have control options. If for whatever reason that wasn't a choice someone wanted to make, then crop rotation, diversifying chemistry in different crops, and then we always talk about cultural practices that can help control weeds, such as some things we don't like to do so much anymore, inter-row cultivation, various things along that nature. There are other ways to control these weeds. It's just herbicides are the cheapest, most effective way to do it.
And Dr. Ikley, obviously, just like you said, spraying for these is probably the most cost-effective way. Are there any other, let's say, natural ways? Are there any insects, any bugs, anything that could be used to kill off these weeds as well?
Yeah, so for the pigweeds, there's not all that many options as far as natural things like bugs to control. We do know if we look at the seed itself, there are seed predators. There's some beetles, some mice, etc., that can eat some seed throughout the winter. And so those folks who have no-till production might get a benefit of having some seed removed from their field that way year over year versus tilling in the fall and burying that seed. So the natural pathways for the pigweeds, there's not that many that we can certainly utilize, but we're starting to get a little bit more creative with some of these cultural practices and machinery implements. And so one thing we're going to start seeing probably more prevalent in the landscape in the coming years is people are starting to attach or manufacture and attach hammer mills to the back of combines that basically feed all the chaff that leaves the rear end of the combine into a hammer mill that will then grind up all that chaff, including any weed seeds in that chaff, into a fine powder that spits out the back of the combine. So that's kind of a machinery implement that some folks are starting to adopt as, like I said, not a natural way to control the weeds, but one way to remove some of the seed just by destroying it before it gets back into the ground.
Yeah, well, this has been very interesting. Dr. Joe Ikley, if people want to get more information about this or part of the NDSU page, where could someone go to get more information on it or any social platforms?
Yep, and so as far as websites, I just always say, Google or search engine of your choice, NDSU Weed Science. We have a webpage there with info, and then our extension has several publications that can be found there as well. I'm on Twitter as far as social media platforms at NDSU Weeds. I think that's my Twitter handle. But can be found there. If you Google my name or search my name, phone number and email pop up there as well as one of the top results.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Joe Ikley, and we're going to get updated with the American Ag Network when we come back. Got a couple more ag topics, a check on the forecasts, and, of course, our question to the listeners. What's the weirdest thing you found in your field? Because we found something in our field that shouldn't be there. We'll touch on that and so much more when we come back.
It's summer in a big way. So go big at Mall of America. Your summer adventure is on with a stay at Radisson Blu Mall of America, conveniently connected to the mall. Swim a little, spa a little, shop up to 500 stores, enjoy every kind of dining, and so much more. Nickelodeon Universe has live Paw Patrol shows. Then get creative with the youngest ones at Crayola Experience. So you can go big just by going to Mall of America. mallofamerica.com/summer.
Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike created the Giza Dream Bed Sheets. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Mike found the world's best cotton called Giza. Ultra soft, breathable, but extremely durable. Mike's Giza Sheets, they come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and about a 10-year warranty. Giza Dream Sheets come in a variety of sizes and colors. Mike's latest incredible deal is the sale of the year. For a limited time, you're going to receive 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets. You will receive a set for as low as $29.98. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square, and use promo code WDAY. There you'll find not only this amazing offer, but also deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including MyPillow 2.0 mattress topper, MyPillow towel sets, and so much more. Call 1-800-875-0644. Use promo code WDAY. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code WDAY.
Hello, Fargo. This is John Adams, your host of Talk of the Town. My show is designed to highlight everything great about the city, the valley, and the country in which we live. I've had the great fortune of meeting, working, and living with wonderful people in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and I want to bring their stories to you. Human interest stories, sports, timely topics that affect all of us in the Red River Valley. Talk of the Town with John Adams. Tune in for positivity and fun.
Let the Goose River Bank become your community bank. They believe a strong bank builds strong communities and would be proud to be your bank.
Grain markets mostly lower. This is the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this market update. We're joined now by Arlen Suderman, Chief Commodities Economist at StoneX. Arlen, as we look at this graded oilseed market, feels like profit taking continuing on this Thursday with the soy complex leading to the downside. Maybe a little more rain in the forecast, but otherwise feels just like we're taking a little bit off the top here with some profit taking today. Does that feel like the case to you?
Yeah, not a lot of difference. I mean, maybe there's more hope in the week 2 forecast for rain in the donut hole that's been missing out in the central Midwest. But we've been here before, and it hasn't verified. So, until it moves forward in the forecast and starts to verify, I think these traders are going to be reluctant to hold short positions. Keep in mind that the momentum trading algo computers are primarily day trading computers. And so if momentum's to the downside on a particular day because of profit taking, they're going to pile on that. But most of these funds are not going to want to have short positions in these markets until they actually see the scope of the damage or, a confidence level that we've taken a turn in the forecast and the weather pattern's going to actually change. But the ebb and flow of a bull market means profit taking. When you get to overbought conditions, that's exactly where we are. And that's why corn and soybeans are seeing sharp losses today. Crude oil's down about 4% at this hour as we talk, and that's a contributing factor for the weakness in the grain and oil seeds as well. The one exception is that kind of the wheat market, where we've been in a lot of short covering mode, but even with corn and soybeans pulling back today, wheat holding its own, with some reports coming out of India that USDA may be about 10 million metric tons too high on its wheat production estimate for the country, and that's providing some support.
And once again, that's Arlen Suderman of StoneX on the American Ag Network.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us, 152 this afternoon. We started the show off asking questions. Before we get to that, the phone number to the program, if you want to call in, is 701-293-9000. That's the Renwick Shoes phone line. That question was, what's the weirdest or most unexplained thing that you've found in your field? Because we were out checking out our field yesterday, and, well, there's something there that shouldn't be there. And by something, I mean... Like seriously, what the hell is this doing?
Bridgette's raising her hand in class. Bridget wants to talk.
She is. And there's things that were found in the field, but I do also want to say that we have a shout out from Tom, one of our listeners. He says, "Hey, I'm the guy who said hi to Dean in Fleet Farm." So Dean, we've identified your stalker.
Hey, Tom,
And
what's
he
up,
says-
buddy?
He says, "I'm a city slicker, but I listen daily. Find it interesting and always learn something new. Great show. Thanks for making my hour fly by."
He ran into, when I had Bentley up here, about a little over a week and a half ago, he ran into us at Fleet Farm, and Bentley's like, "How do you know him, Dad?" I'm like, "I don't. I just met him here in the store, buddy." I said he must like listening to us. So big shout out. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks for listening.
Guess we're doing a good job, and who knows what else people will find out in their fields that they want to
So
call.
are you going to reveal what you found in the field, or are they going to have to wait?
They have to wait till tomorrow when the video launches.
Tomorrow.
Unless they're watching.
and then we
if
can
you're
talk
watching
about
live
it.
stream right now, you can see it.
Yeah, well, you can. And so we'll want to talk about that tomorrow when we are back on the air with this show, because the video will be out by then and we can talk about what we saw.
And it wasn't there 2 weeks ago.
It wasn't there last week.
Wasn't there last week?
Last week.
6 days ago it wasn't there.
Nope, it just showed up.
Yep. And
is this something that's going to be there permanently, or do you think
It
you could,
possibly
can you
could.
spray it to get rid of it?
You
Justin
could
and I
spray it
tried
with
to
something to get rid of it.
Dynamite? Dynamite might work.
I'm thinking maybe a flamethrower.
Well, Justin and I tried to remove a few things. We tried to carry him off. We did our best.
We
but
really
our
did
best just
try.
wasn't enough.
And Dean, had you been there, you would have thrown your pour back out.
Probably would have.
You really would have, because I almost threw mine out.
Trying to remove it?
Yeah, trying to remove some of it.
That's a healthy weed.
He was doing more of a get off my lawn type of thing.
There were a
but
few
that's-
other words in there, too. I wasn't a very happy camper yesterday.
It was hot.
It was
it's a lot
really
better
hot.
today, right,
Hey, we
guys?
had
The weather's good.
a little bit. We had another email question come in earlier in the show. Let this one just sit in there for a moment. All right, here's the email we
Tell
get.
us, what was that email question?
Is there a relationship between several chemtrails this morning and our rain potential?
Absolutely. So did you notice how that rain was fizzling out as it hit the Red River Valley?
Right where the chemtrails were.
Right where the chemtrails were
Supposedly sprayed.
So the government is actually trying to keep us under their thumb.
By keeping us dry.
By keeping us dry.
And what would be the benefit of that?
Well, then you have to rely on them.
Mind control.
Now,
all right, let's get...
Nice try.
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Oh, man.
What's actually going on?
Follow that up, Bridget.
Oh, I thought he was.
Oh,
I thought he was pushing a button for another sounder. I'm like,
I
what?
can find another one. What do you want? Just
No,
give
no,
me
no.
a
Okay.
give me an idea.
Let's drive on. Let's just drive on. Here. So, for those of you who took all your horses out to pasture, first of all, horses, as much as we call them a workhorse, a pack animal, they're rather delicate. And sometimes it upsets their pretty stomachs. So, if you take them out from feed and put them on a rich pasture, which a lot of our pastures looked really good as we came into the spring because we had so much snowfall, they can essentially get a stomach ache. And it's called colic. And one of the things that you're going to see for symptomology might be that they are kicking and scratching at their own sides, they maybe don't want to eat. And sometimes colic can get so bad that you need to bring a vet to try to help out. But one of the first things you can do is take your horse for a walk, not ride your horse, but actually walk your horse, because essentially it's like they're constipated. You kind of have to fix the horse. So be careful when you're taking them to pasture. Make sure you get them the right feed and things are taken care of.
That would be a good thing to do, wouldn't it? No, that's not the same. That's not the same colic that humans get, is it?
It could be similar, really, if you think about it. But yet another question for our vet, Dr. Emily Fox, because she's so good at these things. So next time I can have her talk about delicate horse stomachs.
Right. Which
brings up the fact that it is National Dairy Month, right? June is Dairy Month. And we always say cows have 4 stomachs, but it's actually 1 stomach, 4 compartments. Think about that. It's just that much bigger than ours.
What would you do if you had 4 chambers in your stomach, Dean?
Be about 250 pounds heavier.
Just gonna send it.
Means no M&M would be safe because any M&Ms in the office.
How can you tell I'm eating M&Ms?
You're on a live stream.
Yeah, but it could be a Skittle. You don't know it's an M&M.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. They were W and W's.
Yeah, they were W. They were.
They were.
Did you hear why the one guy got thrown out of the M&M factory?
Oh, boy.
It's because he was throwing away all the ones with W's on it.
Lord. Man. All right. That does not deserve a rim shot. That deserves crickets is what that deserves.
We can do the crickets. But hey, before you get to the forecast, if you want to be a part of our giveaway, we're giving away a rain gauge. We're doing it at the end of the harvest. If you want to guess the yield of our soybean crop for the Here We Grow project, head on over to our Facebook page, Weather and Ag in Focus. It's featured on the top. It's pinned to the channel. Just drop your guess down there in the comments on how many bushels per acre you think that we're going to average over our field.
And with that, I have a question for Bridgette. So, Bridgette, with what you guys found out in the field yesterday, A, how many acres is that going to take away? And B, how much will that affect the yield potential?
Well, it'll just be the amount of acres we can recover. The yield should technically stay the same. I mean, per acre it will.
Possibly. So we know that field is bigger than 20 acres. So somehow we are still going to get our 20 acres out of our field. But if that obstruction had gone through the best part of the field, where the best soils lie, or maybe where the most moisture was, potentially we could see yield loss. We just don't know that yet.
I guess it's a wait and see.
It is a wait and see.
It is.
So a few showers on radar. We'll recap real quick the weather. A few showers on radar, moving off into areas of lakes country. Front will be settling to our south. Additional development expected south of the FM area, down around Wahpeton over towards DL. That's where the main band of thunderstorms will redevelop late this afternoon into the evening hours. Our next best chance of rain comes in here late Friday into Friday night and Saturday. That's when we'll gather most of our precip, where we could get an additional 1 to maybe as much as 3 inches of rain before things dry out late in the day on Sunday. So rain is on the way. Just kind of hang tight, Parker. It's coming your way.
Where's my rain, Dean?
Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.
AM 970 and FM 93.1, WDAY, Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo.